overcare, which is our industry hazard in healthcare because it's the caregiving profession, drains us, depletes us, exhausts us, burns us out, leads to post-trauma and ultimately inability to just care at all anymore. And so we don't want to overcare about this situation for our colleagues, but we do want to care. And so this tool can help us master that difference neurophysiologically, because we can measure the difference between caring and overcaring.
All right. So we're here with Robert and Sheva, and they are going to do a nice heart lock-in for us.
Now I'm going to repeat the steps for, we also have a whole community right now of heart ambassadors from around the world, sending all of you listening to this podcast love, care, compassion, appreciation for the service to humanity, and resilience. And I just want to honor that this podcast is being recorded the week that many of the healthcare workers that we serve and collaborate with in the VA hospital system have lost their jobs. With some radical changes happening in our government here. One person in particular that I worked with on Monday, who's served the VA for almost 3 decades and is not returning to work today. And so if we could give special attention and focus to that group of people who find themselves in a sudden and unexpected transition, and to their patients for whom a real care plan through the transition was not established. And just now there's a distinction we have in the work that we do, which is care renews us, fuels us, and helps that which we care about. Overcare, which is our industry hazard in healthcare because it's the caregiving profession, drains us, depletes us, exhausts us, burns us out, leads to post-trauma, and ultimately inability to just care at all anymore. And so we don't want to overcare about this situation for our colleagues, but we do want to care. And so this tool can help us master that difference neurophysiologically, because we can measure the difference between caring and overcaring. And we can measure that difference long before we can't get out of bed and we call in sick. We can measure that difference in our heart rhythm patterns. We can measure that difference in our hormones, our neurotransmitters. But most important, as we gain more self and situational awareness, we can measure the difference in how we feel in the heart of this moment right now. We are our own best biofeedback. So if we feel renewed by our care, it's effective care. And if we feel drained by it, there's a good chance it's not helping what we care about either. So if overcare worked, knowing us as healthcare workers, we'd be like, all right, overcare is killing me, but it works. So I'm going to do it until I die.
Yeah.
Because we care so much that as long as we're effective, we're in it. However, because it's not effective, that's genuine motivation for us to listen to our own bodies and our own feelings and care in a way that's renewing and effective. And so the heart lock-in technique that we're doing for all of you right now can help us attain that. So we're going to focus attention as 3 basic steps. We're going to focus attention together in the area around the heart, the chest area. Imagining the breath is flowing in through the heart and out through the heart. Breathing a little slower, a little deeper than usual. If you find it helpful, you can count as you breathe in and count as you breathe out. On whatever rhythm works for your body, but here's the key, because this is a biohack. We're pulling ourselves out of survival mode, which overcare puts us in. And the switch we flip to begin to come out of surviving mode into thriving mode is to start balancing the autonomic nervous system, the parasympathetic, sympathetic system. And what does that is to invite the inhale and the exhale to be even in length. So if counting works for you, you're going to count the same number of counts as you breathe in and the same number of counts as you breathe out while maintaining your focus in the chest area. That's heart-focused breathing. Just that alone can start conserving a lot of energy if we're draining our energy. But to that heart-focused breathing, we can now add the activation of a renewing feeling. It might be a feeling of appreciation. You could appreciate Charlene for giving us this space to hear our own wellness whispers. Care or compassion. I'm thinking in this moment of 2 patients who had long COVID, a husband and wife in their 80s, who were really struggling to make it. And we found the right combination of treatment for them. And they're doing better than they have in years. And I just talked to them this week. So my heart is full of gratitude that the treatment worked, that they're compliant, that they're doing so well. It could just be that little moment of appreciation, whatever sources it for you, breathing that feeling in through the heart and out through the heart. That's step 2. And in step 3, just like the sun radiates its rays, there's some science behind this we won't go into right now. Just experiment with trying it. You imagine radiating that feeling to all the cells in your own body and beyond you this morning to all the healthcare workers listening to this podcast. And we actually have biofeedback technology that shows the changes in heart rhythm that initiate 1,400 other biophysical changes that occur with this change in heart rhythm. So I'm hooking up to that. And we'll rest in this care focus together in silence for the next 3 minutes. The show that we're on is called Wellness Whispers, and the first place those whispers come from is our own inner self. And our HeartMath research indicators show that intuitive internal guidance comes from the heart.
I'd love to share something on this just to honor Charlene. Additionally, honor Charlene.
Could we let people just after the heart lock in listen to their heart?
I'm so of course.
Just after having that moment of silence, which is so rare for us in healthcare. It's a good time for us to build. In our neuroscience work, we call wellness whispers interoception. We have a different name for it. It's a neurological connection between our cognition and what's happening inside us. And the completion of the heart lock-in tool we just did together is a really good time to practice laying those neurological cables into that inner listening. Just to listen to, we would say listen to your heart, but you could say listen to yourself. Our heart lock-in brought our cat to the party.
Aww.
Is there anything your own self wants you to know right now for your wellness? Thank you for indulging that, Robert. Sorry. Sure.
No, that was perfect. Thank you so much.
No, the part I just wanted to honor in the name of that is Charlene. You were one of the most first certified trainers at Kaiser, but I would say to the depths and the level of your inner connection to your own heart, your intuitive guidance, the way you have helped care for caregivers and the love, the uninhibited amount of love and genuine care that travels through your heart while you teach and train and share, and to watch your evolution and your own intuition as it's evolved you, even to create a podcast such as this, to care for others, the innovation and the creation. It's just such an honor to know you and to be a part of this. And it's just our joy to help give to this, to help serve the many, beyond all that you've already done. So thank you for following your intuition.
Thank you, guys. I am so honored to have you guys here. I've been wanting you guys for like ever because what I learned from you was so magical that it enhanced who I was. And so that's why I wanted people to experience you, experience your essence, experience your presence, and just all of the difference that you guys are making in the globe is like amazing. And so I'm so honored. I love when I can connect heart to heart with people that I don't even know. And it was like an instant connection for me with you guys. And I just love you guys. That's why I call them my heart sister and brother, because they are amazing. But could you guys tell us who you are first, for the audience, listening audience? They might not know necessarily what HeartMath is. I do talk about it a lot on the podcast. This is a new podcast to actually experience this. So, Sheva, I love how you jumped right in with the heart lock-in, because I want people to experience it, because we hear about it and we get the knowledge, but then to experience it and to actually cultivate it in the moment is so beautiful to me. So start with just telling us who you are. And then I really just want to know, Robert and Sheva, like, how did you guys get into this HeartMath?
Well, I love how you're talking about jumping into the moment with it, because the heart lock-in technique that we all just did together, which we usually don't share on podcasts, by the way.
Right.
That's because we have this whole community of heart ambassadors around the world sending healthcare workers heart right now. You got to see what some of our more advanced students are doing in the world. Really sending care. And I'll just say, relative to that heart lock-in, when it's used in healthcare, it really changes patient care and outcomes, not just healthcare worker resilience. Yes. I'm thinking in this moment of a colleague at Colorado Children's who was working with a nonverbal Down syndrome patient, a pediatric patient, who had tachycardia, and there was nothing was bringing this kid's heart rate down. Really extreme tachycardia. And finally, she went in the room. She was the bedside nurse. And she just asked the family and all the physicians gathered around the kid to leave. And she gave the kid space. And she sat in the corner of the room and started doing this heart lock-in that we all just did together. Sure enough, as soon as she did, his heart rate came down to a normal rate. The family, the doctors, and all of the techs standing outside the room watching the monitors saw his heart rate come down and ran in to find out what changed it. And that jacked his heart rate back up. And so they realized he was having a stress reaction to all these people around him. So she trained all of his caregivers, including his family members, how to regulate the heart rhythm in his presence. And he stabilized. And so these tools that HeartMath has developed, we don't really get credit for that. Doug Childer, the founder of HeartMath, developed these tools, and he has a team of researchers and a whole team of people that helped develop this work. And then we got to come in and learn it and give it to healthcare workers, which is the privilege of a lifetime. They've been doing this research for 35 years on the physiology of the heart and our capacity to self-regulate the heart and emotions, which turn out to have an inextricable connection for the benefit and well-being of our health, our wellness, but also our patients, our coworkers, and ultimately, as you intimated there, Charlene, the world. And we do have science looking at the impact these changes in heart rhythm have on the earth itself and the reciprocal relationship between the earth and human beings, which is really the leading edge of some of the research in collaboration with NASA. Pretty fascinating stuff. But for most of us working in healthcare, the world feels a little too big right now. We're just trying to get the next IV in or get through this day or night, the night shift. And so most of our tools are not like the heart lock-in where you're going into silence for 3 minutes. That's like a unicorn and it's 3 minutes of silence. Not in a hospital, that's for sure. In most hospitals, there are some now that are creating those silent spaces, and we could talk about some of the science of why that's important. But whether you get moments of silence or not, you can still go to your heart on the fly, on the move, when we're washing hands, when we're changing PPE, while we're starting an NIV. These tools we're purposefully designed to be able to flip that switch to biohack our survival mode, where we spend a lot of energy, into a more efficient operating mode for us, efficient for our bodies. We're not talking about efficiencies for, your CFO, though it can become that. But first and foremost, it's efficient for your system, so that you have energy at the end of the day to make yourself a nice dinner instead of just grab a tub of Haagen-Dazs at 7-Eleven on the way. It's like practice.
Yes.
I think a layer I'd add to this in terms of what brought us to this and how does this all is.
I'm not against Haagen-Dazs, by the way. After a balanced meal. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Is one of the reasons why we often, as caregivers, choose not to choose and be well. It's because we care so much, for others and want others to heal. And it's our calling. It's our purpose and our driver. And before I even met Sheva or HeartMath, the experience that brought me to this work was an experience that very much involved the heart unexpectedly, a feeling in my heart, the quality of love, and observing directly its functions in the healing process. And there was something in that experience, which was maybe another podcast at another time, was I was sure that the heart and love can help others heal. And so I was passionately focused to find and draw to me anything that was that. And I first drew Sheva to my life and was like, wow, okay, she's all about that.
Yeah.
And I found HeartMath. And they had built already the tools and the science and the evidence that this was in the mid 90s. It wasn't like you could get a doctorate in how does love heal.
Right.
But the research was already happening. And so the whole body of this work was very simple evidence-based tools that oddly, when you choose to be well and choose to self-regulate your physiology, you're automatically then emanating an energy and frequency and physiology of love that aligns with our core purpose as caregivers. So often there's this dichotomy, like, well, if I choose to self-care and be well, then I can't care for others. It's like there's a reason not to. But what we're saying here is you can't not, you have to. The braiding of the two just further optimizes and empowers our capacity to love, and which it contributes to. And so that's what got me into this affinity. Sheva and I are also the co-directors for HeartMath Healthcare. So we really hold close to our hearts the healing and the wholeness healing for all those involved in the healing arts and health. And hasn't lost my attention yet, because it just goes deeper. The heart only goes deeper. It gets more and more refined. And I just want to say this is like the journey of being well, and the journey of what that means to be wholeness and healed and to offer that to others, it just gets deeper. It's almost like an infinite adventure.
Yes.
It's not like a binary code of you either are or you aren't. It just, and so what that summons us as healthcare givers is we can often feel isolated by the boundaries of our room or our division or our unit, and like that our care only can reach this person or that. But what you'll see with the heart is the love goes beyond walls. Clinically, the field environments, when you shift into a balanced, coherent state at the heart, it can affect others in the next room or in the next building or in the next town. And so in a time in the world where it can feel hopeless, to know that our love matters, to know as caregivers, we can do simple maneuvers like the one we started this call with that can have effect and impact to help lift and help a world be whole. That gives a lot of incentive to follow those whispers of wellness inside our heart.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. You guys, when I was going through my transition in July, so I early retired in July, but when it was time for me to stop, I knew something was off with me. And so I felt stuck. Even though I was free, I still felt like I was bound. And so I did this heart lock-in, before I went into prayer. And oh my God, it was just absolutely amazing because what it opened up was all of the what I call soul pain that I had encountered through all of the trauma, that the systemic stuff that had happened. Not that anybody did anything to me, but a lot of times when you are overcaring and you're not paying attention, your soul is being wounded. You know, every little scar, every little word spoken that was inappropriate, it gets to you. You think you're like floating through it. And I was like, this is no big deal. I can handle this. But when I finally got quiet, see, that heart lock in lets you get like so still and quiet. And then things started emerging. It was the most wonderful thing that I have ever done, meaning it was painful, but it was wonderful. If I explained that right. But I love how the HeartMath tools helps you to really get quiet, because especially coming out of burnout, you really need to get quiet to be able to listen to your heart, to the whispers of your heart, so you can see and make sure that you realign yourself. And that's really what it did during my tenure there at KP. I mean, HeartMath Caring Science was magic sauce. This was our opportunity to still be authentically present, to still release love in the midst of all of the darkness that we were experiencing. So I am just so honored for the tools that you guys taught us. For HeartMath, it's so powerful and profound. I have to share this one testimony. This is not even in the hospital, but I was driving somewhere with a young lady, and she had a panic attack she was driving. And so I walked her through. Yes. Yes. I was like, oh my God. And I had briefly told her about HeartMath, and I did a quick coherence with her in the moment while she's driving, and it literally helped her to come down. And then we pulled over and we switched over. But it was like a lifesaver, honestly, because she was like in full blown panic, and I had to walk her and lead her back to her heart. And so the work that you guys are doing I can't even like speak. I don't even have the words for it, honestly. But it's still a part of my life. You guys were supposed to be a part of my life. And that's why I'm so thankful for you guys, because even beyond retirement, this is who I am. I'm a heart person. I'm a love person. I like to love the unlovable. I like to go all the way in the heart, because humanity needs love. And I want to be that floodgate. And I just feel like this tool is so amazing. And I want everybody in the world to experience it. And so that's why I love you guys so much. So that's why I wanted them to come on the podcast, because if you're an organization, I know there's organizations out there that are looking for tools. This is an amazing tool. HeartMath is an amazing technique to give your employees. So I would totally just ask anybody that's struggling and see their staff struggling to tap into HeartMath, so that they can use them as a resource to help the care team become whole again. Yeah.
Thank you, Charlene. I so appreciate that. And we do in those environments, we have a lot of different solutions that can be used in different types of healthcare environments. Heart lock-in is one of over 45 different skills that we bring to the table. I was thinking it might be nice for us to do one of the skills that you can do on the fly.
Yes, that would be great.
Your listeners are probably listening on the fly on their commute this morning. But also, so you have something to take home or take to work with you that you can really use. I will just say this. Thank you so much, Charlene. You're one of our greatest champions in this world. And not just because you talk about the work, but because you really do the work. I will say vulnerably that I personally received a healing from Charlene. She was at our facility going through her HeartMath certification. I had just been through a cytomegalovirus virus, and that had paralyzed my thoracic nerve. And I couldn't lift my right arm for almost a year. And Charlene healed me. She was a huge part of the team that made the difference And my arm is fit as new right now. Never came back.
That really wasn't me, Sheva. I was so scared because I knew that I was getting instructions to pray for you. I was getting instructions to pray for you. And I'm like, what? I'm in a training. I cannot do this. But I was obedient to the voice, to the whisper. And I just stepped out there in faith and just did it anyway. And I'm so thankful that I did, because I was also being tested.
I'm so thankful you did, because for me, it was the same. I was like, I was one of the leaders of the training. This was a hospital training, y'all. And we're doing evidence-based, well-researched tools and technologies that have been vetted with the tires kicked on them. And then I'm going to let myself get prayed over. But, so there we were in the middle of it wasn't during the training, it was on a break. But still, there were Kaiser and other hospitals employees all around us, and everybody has their own belief systems about it. And that's one of the wonderful things, by the way, about HeartMath is you don't have to believe in it, and it doesn't conflict with anyone's belief system.
Yes.
It's just an evidence-based intervention.
Absolutely.
So we have faith-based hospital systems that do it, and we have hospital systems that aren't faith-based that do it. Right. But anyhow, Charlene,
thank you.
I courageously went for that. You followed that inner wellness whisper, and it turned into my wellness. And
yeah, it's awesome.
For that, I am so grateful.
Praise.
And so, you're reminding me as you talk about carrying these heart skills into your retirement, which some of these colleagues at the VA who are suddenly finding themselves unemployed, it's why we're getting phone calls. Yeah. Because they're saying, well, can I still do HeartMath? And of course, because you're not leaving your heart at the VA. It's still in your chest. And so you're reminding me of a young National Guardsman that I trained before he was deployed to Iraq. And he testified in Congress that HeartMath was the most powerful weapon he had in Iraq and the only one he wanted to bring home with him.
Wow.
And I do think of our healthcare workers, especially after COVID, as deployed soldiers sometimes fighting some serious battles. And I'm glad you're bringing your heart skills home from your deployment, Charlene.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be for life, honestly, because of the impact it has been in my life. And I'm using it all over. I mean, the slide that you guys have with the person, I forgot the little heart rate variability slide. That was my favorite absolute slide, because I got delivered from so many things just in that slide itself. And I began to start taking care of myself much better. And so anyway, you have to get more information on these beautiful, this is like my favorite couple here, right here. They're so cute. Look at them. They're absolutely cute and powerful. And the heart, I mean, just when you hear them, you can sit there and talk. I could listen to them forever, honestly, because of the essence that comes out of them. So I do know that I do have to close up on this portion of it, so I'm going to let you guys close this out.
So do you want to give us
the slide
on
that
the spot tool? I was trying to bring the slide to share, but I don't think we have that.
So the image what she's referring to, this technique is just a very quick way to engage the magic of that, basically. And it's when the heart rhythms are chaotic versus coherent, discordant versus harmonious. How do you do that within a few seconds? And it's the static of that chaos that inhibits us from hearing the little whispers of our heart, right? Things need to be more quiet, and the fidelity of that signal inside to hear those signals throughout the day. So this technique will be one of those really quick maneuvers to help clear the decks, clear the static, the inner noise, to kind of bring that harmony to your inner system. And it's really the first two steps of that longer tool that we did, but there's a little nuance to it. So before we dive into it, everyone right now, just peruse the landscape of your life right now. Is there something that's easy in your life to appreciate, something comes easy to you. It could be a place of nature, someone you love. It could be something you're proud about, maybe a fit in your life or whatever. Something that you can appreciate or have love for or feel care for or compassion easily, giving you the landscape of your life right now. And just pull one of those in for you right now. Something that's easy. And then we're going to go through the 2 steps, because now we're going to kind of activate how the heart marries with this feeling, and then how you can get the benefits of this from a whole wellness inside. So that first step, and we're all going to do it right now. This is 30 seconds. You can do this during a code, eyes open, while you're sanitizing your hands, anything, but focus your attention in the area around the heart. Imagine your breath is flowing in and out of your heart or chest area, a little deeper than usual. Just finding a rhythm that's comfortable. Heart-focused breathing. And while you continue to breathe through the area around the heart, just make a sincere attempt to experience a regenerative feeling. Just love or care or appreciation or compassion for someone or something in your life, something that comes easy to you right now. Just breathe that through the area around the heart. And as you continue to breathe that feeling, just make an inner commitment. Bridge this into that next moment of your life. The carryover effect of a coherent heart can carry with you into each next liquid moment. No matter how hard it might be, it'll add a little grease to those wheels, a little less friction. The breathing shifts that signal in the heart. The feeling helps sustain it. And you just do that as many times as you can remember throughout the day. And you're bathing yourself in an inner spa and setting yourself up for those whispers through and evolve through this life that can be tumultuous at times.
And if you get a whisper to reach out to us, you can write the whole team at de-stress, not distress. We don't want to distress you anymore. We want to de-stress you. DESTRESS at HeartMath, like mathematics, HeartMath.com. De-stress at HeartMath.com.
That is so wonderful. And I am going to put your information in the description so that people can reach out to you guys. And I hope you come back someday soon and really go a little bit deeper. Maybe we can have a little more time to unpack the science behind it and all of the other wonderful things. But I so honor you guys for being on my new show. And I am so sure that it's going to bless everybody in their entire being and really to help us to be whole, to be well, and to shine. I love how you started, you guys, with the heart lock-in, because I think when you tap into your intuition, it shifts you to right where you need to be, right in the heart of where you're supposed to be. So I love you guys so much, and I'm sending love and blessings to your life forever, ever. And we are forever connected. So thank you for being on the show.